We all want to recognize the moment. That's the moment. This is the moment when unity can happen.
Life.
Right.
And the woman's right to choose, and we're taking that away, and gay marriage, that's going. And I was appalled. Then I met my wife, and oh my God, I can't believe we're married because she was a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
How could you possibly? And I'll never forget, she's like, you think you're such a good person. You think you're so liberal and so understanding. You guys are the least understanding, the least accepting, and the least tolerant of anybody who doesn't agree with you. Cut to, I started hearing everywhere, or at least focusing on it. Oh, well, they voted for Trump, so I had to cut them out. Oh, I haven't spoken to my mother. She's a Trump supporter.
Right now, the left and the right have this moment when they can finally get together. The left is waking up.
A post on social, and I've talked about it a lot. It was on this blog called Scary Mommy.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposed to be funny. We're supposed to make fun of what shitty moms we were. It's supposed to be funny.
Right.
Which became political. And it was like, if you pray to Allah, I'll sit next to you on the bus. If you are gay married, like I'll hold your hand. All these things about you're allowed to be on the fringe and I will accept you. In the comments, what if I'm wearing a MAGA hat? And the answer was, well, if you're not a racist or a bigot or a this or a that, sure.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I saw it so clearly. And then another person who's friends with my wife was like, don't you understand? These people that your party is demonizing, they work 2 jobs to make ends meet. Like they go to church.
Exactly.
They try to be a better person. Like they're just trying to get by. And you're calling them ignorant for being religious, like racist, bigoted. So they feel completely abandoned, disenfranchised, and demonized, and Trump is speaking to them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, since I kind of started speaking out against some of the behaviors of the left or on the left, of course, that led to a lot of backlash from the left because you're not, you're only supposed to call out the other side. You should never, hold your own side accountable when they're engaging in intolerant behavior. But once I finally felt comfortable enough to raise concerns about how the left talks about crime, for instance, and things like that, they couldn't wait to purge me. Like I really did notice that there was this effort to just do away with me. I'm not pure enough. I'm not good enough. Like you're not one of us. And I had already gotten to a point in my life where I was willing to accept that treatment as long as I was able to speak my mind. And it took me at least a year, if not more, to finally feel comfortable to come out and say, no, the way that we're handling homelessness is not the right way to handle it. No, it turns out that crime is real and there are some people in society who are a danger and a threat to the public and they should be in prison. And, I was saying this stuff in the left-wing era of abolish the police or abolish the prison, the prisons. And as they were trying to purge me, you have the right wing asking you to come join with open arms, right?
We on the right have been hoping for this for a long, long time, to get them to understand that we are not them.
And it's just so interesting to me. Look, I'm not a Republican, and I'm a little more socially conservative than I was when I was younger, but not on issues like gay marriage or whatever. It's more on, actually police are important and we need to reform policing, yes, but the idea that we need to, shut down prisons, which we have in California. We've shut down 4 of them. Now there's no room for inmates and they're just releasing people as early as possible with this BS like good behavior credits when they're behind bars. No transparency on that. We don't know what they did to deserve to get 20 years shaved off their sentence, but okay.
Well, maybe it's here.
So this stuff is all going on, and I have a few views that have changed and evolved, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm in line with the Republican Party.
Right.
But they don't care. They don't care that I have some differences with them. What they care about is, honestly, on one hand, if I'm being cynical, power. They understand that in order to be a powerful party, you need to be more welcoming and you need to have broader coalitions of people. I think there's a side of the Republican Party that understands that. But there's also this faction in the Republican voting base that consists of disaffected Democrats. And I don't know if they've fully bought into what Republicans are selling, but they don't feel welcome on the left. So they've been absorbed onto the right.
Yes.
And I'm seeing the right wing change.
Yes.
They went from the neocon pro-war party to now all of a sudden, what are we doing in like the Middle East right now?
Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney! Weapons of fucking mass destruction and the Patriot Act, Dick Cheney, is...
Why are we doing this? We have our problems here. Can we please handle our problems here? And I now see that Dick Cheney is endorsing Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is going around town talking about how honored she is. And I'm like, you're honored to be endorsed by a war criminal?
Siding with Kamala Harris, okay? Do you know what a neocon is? It means war hawk. That's what it means. This guy is not one of them. From the beginning, he said that weapons of mass destruction was horse shit. From the beginning, he said that 9/11 was bombs. Those planes didn't do that. How would he know? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he builds skyscrapers? 50 or 60 of them he's built. So anyway.
I mean, if I were in her shoes, I would like pull Dick Cheney aside and be like, listen, thank you for your support, but can we just keep this on the DL?
Totally.
You know? But
Yes.
she's like proud of it. She's flaunting it. And that's not the party that represents me or represents my best interests.
And they've spun the narrative, though. They're like, look, even people are so worried about Trump that people like Dick Cheney have joined our side.
Yes, yes.
No. That implies that you will do his bidding. And it's playing out in real time. We're in numerous wars.
Yes.
I don't understand anything about geopolitics, but all I know is it's gotten way worse.
It has, definitely.
Like, I'm watching people die all over the world, and everyone tells me Trump is Hitler, and I'm like, well, you know, we didn't really, it didn't sound like it got worse over there, and now we're in a war in the Middle East, with these proxy wars. Forgive my ignorance. Like, I don't fully understand it.
They are essentially proxy wars.
Fuck George Bush. Fuck Dick Cheney. Disgusting. That's disgusting. Okay? Our media, which is controlled by a certain people group that needs to remain unmentioned, they have us all hating the other people group in the Middle East. Are you with me? Are you with what I'm saying? Okay, let's go back. Who owns Hollywood? Who started Hollywood? Who are CEOs of all the corporations in the media? Who is that? Are they that people group in the Middle East? The ones, anyway, or are they the other people group? You can understand what I'm saying. So this is the moment, because the left wing has been pretty outspoken against that particular people group who is killing the brown people over there. It's a moment in history. We can finally come together, and the left can finally hear what kind of people we are. It's the Trump people who are against war. And by the way, I really don't like using this term people group, because it's really not that. These are people that are hiding behind religion, okay? That's the confusion that you don't understand. Look up the two religions that I'm talking about. Now look up the group that I'm talking about, which owns Hollywood, it owns the media, it controls both political sides of the US, the left and the right. Do you understand how they control the right wing? Christian Zionism.